Yes, everyone, it's the ROB, and I am back at you with another episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Here I am. It is Thursday, July 6th, 2017. It is hot as hell outside. Yes, the temperature is heating up here in the Great White North, despite what many people around the world think about our non stop Canadian winters. We actually have summer, and it's a warm one right now. So, nice, beautiful weather. Enjoying it, definitely. But along with nice, beautiful weather, I've got job to do, and that's to get back to all of you with all the talk in the wrestling world this week. Uh, I'm going to actually cover a little bit more extra today because I had a chance to sit down. I usually get a chance to do most of the shows every single week, but I don't usually talk as much about NXT or 205 Live. But I'm actually going to add those to the list this week. Not sure why. I figured maybe there's some people out there that maybe aren't tuning in to 205 Live particularly, and maybe should be, and maybe if they hear a little bit of what's going on over there, they might be more inclined to, give it a chance. So let's kick off the show with 205 Live then. If you didn't get a chance to tune in on Tuesday, Titus Worldwide. Yes, Titus O'Neil changing his branding to Titus Worldwide now that he's got the acquisition of Akira Tozawa. So now Titus comes out doing a promo, cutting a promo ready for ahead of Great Balls of Fire, where his client Akira Tozawa getting a Cruiserweight Championship match against, yes, Mr. Neville, the king of the cruiserweights himself. So, something to look forward to there with Great Balls of Fire. So as I go through this, I'm going to be mentioning matches from Great Balls of Fire. So we're going to consider this a partial predictions episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling as well, too. So, with that said, okay, so we've got Neville, we've got Akira Tozawa, we've got the Cruiserweight Championship. This Sunday, Great Balls of Fire. So, who do I think is going to win? That's a really good question. Okay, I'm kind of at a loss for words because it's kind of hard to decide with this one. I want to go ahead and say that I have a strong feeling that Neville is definitely walking out still Cruiserweight Champion, and there's almost an uncertain, undeniable thought there amongst all of the WWE universe that this is the way it's going to go. It is definitely going to be a Neville win. But, you throw in the idea that Akira Tozawa being backed by Titus O'Neil. Could Titus O'Neil play a factor in that particular match? One would think, especially if you want to extend it. I have a funny feeling that Neville is going to walk away with the Cruiserweight Championship. Not necessarily do I feel that he is going to win the match, though. So, I'm going to say he definitely retains. I'm going to say that it's either going to be a close call or it's going to be that he retains by a disqualification or a count out or something like that to continue this feud. I feel this feud is going to go on a little bit longer, possibly, but we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna predict right here, right now. Neville walks away, Cruiserweight champion still, despite what the end result is of the match, whether Neville legit wins or whether something costs him the match with DQ or anything like that. I have a funny feeling this will extend a little bit on 205 Live for a little while, so we'll see where it goes from there. So now switching gears away from Great Balls of Fire so we can talk about the rest of 205 Live. Okay, let's talk about some of the matches we had that night. Lince Dorado versus Neville. I mean, this one got off to a fast-paced start, guys. Lince Dorado, if you enjoy the lucha style and more of the high-flying, fast-paced, acrobatic style, which, again, I'm all for at times. I'm not 100% against it in the right context and stuff like that. I feel that on 205 Live, it could definitely add a breath of fresh air into the division. So I'm totally on board in that sense of the word with the high flyers like Lindsay Dorado and stuff like that. Where I don't like it, and hate on me if you will, but you look at something like Lucha Underground, and no disrespect to anybody who works for you, Lucha Underground, you guys are amazingly hard workers, and you're doing what you love. So I mean, I'm not taking anything away from you there, but yes, the high flying stuff where it's constant flip, 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 kick, 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 false finish, false finish. It's hard to get into sometimes because it just seems so crazy that these guys are capable of getting up after all this stuff all the time. But that being said, Lindsay Dorado, he's great in ring. Definitely, I think it would be good to see a little bit more development of him on 205 Live. I think he could put on a real spectacle for the fans and could be something worth watching. Unfortunately, here doesn't pick up the win. That was pretty obvious. Neville, conquering this division like it's nobody's business. I'm really hoping that this will eventually maybe lead to Neville transitioning more to taking on some feuds against the main roster outside of the cruiserweight division once his title reign ends. I would love to see, here's let me throw this one at you. What if Akira Tozawa was to become cruiserweight champion? If Akira Tozawa becomes cruiserweight champion, could it lead to Neville potentially having beef with the rest of Titus Worldwide? Now, if he did that, he could go over and be taking on Apollo Crews. He could take on Titus O'Neil, anything of the sort. It would transition Neville into somebody who could fight guys who are of larger stature, which we already know he can because that is how he started his run. But now that there's a little bit more legitimacy, a little bit more of that, that solid Neville level that we've been getting, I strongly believe that they could transition Neville into a main player on Monday Night Raw right now. They need to do it in the right way. Hopefully that'll happen, but time will obviously tell. Okay, moving on from there, we had a match between Jack Gallagher and Tony Nese, which definitely was a step up in terms of in-ring action and everything between Nese and Gallagher. It's definitely a better match than what we got with Lindsay Dorado and Neville, so to speak. So it was a pretty good match. I liked the spot in the corner where Nese had Gallagher upside down and he started doing a workout routine, which led to the kicks to the face for Jack Gallagher. Match quality was great. Here's where it falls flat, and this is what's probably turning a lot of people off of watching 205 Live. And I really wish people would just sift through the shit and voice your opinions online so that WWE knows. I mean, again, not tuning into 205 Live is not doing these guys any justice. It's not the fault of the performers. The performers are performing the way that they are told to perform. They are being told this is the way you'll do it and stuff. But yes, this is what hurts it, is right after this match is over. The Brian Kendrick comes out in colonial era attire and does this whole about why Britain's not great thing and stuff like that. Just enough of that kind of stuff. Again, it's not Kendrick's fault, and Kendrick is wonderful. I think he's one of the best and most underrated people on 205 Live right now currently. But yes, I don't think the hokey shit is doing these guys any favors right now. Dressing them up in this bullshit attire and stuff like that. I mean, it works for some characters. Like, don't get me wrong, Bree Zongo is goofy as hell over on SmackDown Live, but it's really working for their characters, their gimmick. But it seems like there's so much of the goofy nonsense being given to the cruiserweights. It's like they can't be taken seriously, and when they do get taken seriously, and in the likes of Neville, people are paying attention. People want to pay attention to Neville. They don't want to pay attention to Brian Kendrick dressing up. They want to pay attention to people they can take seriously, who are going to give them a quality performance. 205 Live should be about the wrestling, because that is what the cruiserweights always were. The cruiserweights were always about the wrestling, and that's what would definitely help save 205 Live. But again, us not tuning in each week on the WWE Network is not doing anything other than making, top officials think, well, these guys obviously aren't cutting it. when the next round of layoffs come, they could be canceling 205 Live, and most of these guys who more than deserve to be within the landscape of WWE could be on their way back to the indie scene. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want to see the likes of TJP and Rich Swann, Brian Kendrick and all these guys, filter their way over to Japan or ROH and stuff like that, which are, again, not a bad thing necessarily, but we could see great things from them in WWE. We just need to give them a chance. And speaking of giving it a chance, if you're not going to watch anything else on 205 Live, tune in just to watch Rich Swann versus TJP, the main event. And almost every single week, folks, 205 Live's main event is solid. It is always a good show, just about. I do my best to kind of avoid watching the cruiserweights on Raw, and the only reason I do that is because a lot of it is repeats and repetitiveness that you get the next day on 205 Live, and it kind of ruins 205 Live if you watch those segments all on Raw. And I think that's, again, another part that's hurting 205 Live right now. So, that being said, maybe just take those opportunities to just do whatever, if that's when you need to talk to your buddy who's in the room, talk to your buddy during the cruiserweight match, and then tune into 205 Live and you get quality matches like TJP and Rich Swann performed on Tuesday night. Excellent from start to finish. The crowd definitely into it. Lots of "this is awesome" chants that occurred during this match, which, again, great to see. So this is a great match between the two of them. Just showcases the excellence of both Rich Swann and TJP as performers in the ring. So definitely great there. Tune in to 205 Live, folks. That's what it comes down to. It all boils down to, I think you should tune in to 205 Live. Okay, switching gears though, NXT from last night. Let's just get right down into it. So, we had Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno taking on the Team of Sanity. The Team of Sanity comprised of Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. What a great, hard-hitting match, back and forth. Definitely, being a tease there with the dissension between Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno as well. So yeah, Itami not wanting to make the tag after Ohno was not there in the corner when Itami did need the tag because he was distracted on the outside by Alexander Wolf. So yes, in the end, Sanity proving to be too much for the team of Itami and Ohno. Itami taking the fall to Killian Dane. Definitely a good look for Sanity. Helps to kind of build this Itami heel turn with his potential to go up against Cassius Ohno. I could only imagine this is leading to a one-on-one battle between the two at the next NXT TakeOver, which I'm assuming is going to be on around SummerSlam weekend. So, yes, we know that the women's division heating up on NXT is Ruby Riott and Ember Moon, showing that they both have desire for that championship title. Question is, do either of them have what it takes to get past Asuka? I mean, Asuka has, run amok in NXT. She has destroyed everybody in her path. Absolutely everybody in her path. And after last week's match with Nikki Cross, I mean, my God, how do you book Asuka's loss? I mean, what will cause this woman to lose? I mean, she can win fatal four-ways. She wins triple threats. She wins, these matches, these last woman standing matches as well, too. Like, I mean, this is a woman who just cannot be stopped at the moment. And, it's a wonderful thing because it's got us all talking. Asuka's fantastic. She's great on a microphone, great in the ring. I mean, one of the absolute best, in my opinion, and probably a lot of people's opinions for that matter. But the crazy thing is, how do you legitimately book this woman in a loss without having major interference occur? And then how do you make it so that she doesn't just get her title back when she gets her rematch in her rematch clause? It becomes a very difficult dynamic in that sense. You really have to be careful of the booking. It almost becomes borderline Brock Lesnar booking, where he had to lose the title because Seth Rollins cashing in a Money in the Bank contract, and all these factors that have to play out for somebody of that stature to lose a match at times, unless they get thrown off guard, which, was the case with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. But, Goldberg being a large man, it made sense that he was able to topple the beast in that sense. So with Asuka, who knows? Are we going to see somebody, whoever wins the Mae Young Classic, get their opportunity there? I don't know. Only time will tell. But it's definitely worth watching in on. So anyway, last but not least, definitely not least, we had the main event of NXT for the NXT Championship. The glorious Bobby Roode defending his NXT Championship against Roderick Strong. And my God, if you have not yet seen this match, pause what you're listening to right now, because I am not going to be offended by it. Get your ass over to the WWE Network or whatever platform it is you use to watch WWE shows. Okay, I'm not going to be judgy. Just find a way. Go on YouTube. Go on wherever you have to. Bobby Roode versus Roderick Strong. I'm saying it right here, right now. As far as a televised show, and I'm not talking pay-per-views and stuff like that. This is a show that was on regular NXT television. Ends with a wonderful, wonderful match. Neither man looked bad in this match. Both men really brought their A game, as they always do. I mean, I'm a huge fan of both these superstars. Of course, little impartial with Bobby Roode, being that he's Canadian. Sorry, Roddy Strong. But he's just exemplifies exactly what I feel about Canadian wrestling in general, is that not only do you get strong in-ring performances, you get memorable characters at the same time, and Bobby Roode, definitely one of those memorable characters. The title, it was within the grasp, but you honestly thought at times, like, it's done. Bobby Roode is going to lose to Roderick Strong on NXT television. But, with a controversial finish, Bobby Roode's foot being under the rope, at least it wasn't, a lot of back and forth, the referee trying to decide what he was going to do. He immediately started saying, no, 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 telling the timekeepers, the bell ringers, like, no, this is not true. It is not over. Roderick Strong is not the champion. He had to go and tell Roddy Strong, who's hugging his wife at ringside, no, sorry, his foot was under the ropes. I saw it. And that's just how it is. So anyway, Bobby Roode walking out as NXT champion still. Again, I can't see this being the end of these two. I think that we as fans are going to clamor for the rematch, because the rematch is going to be off the hook. Bobby Roode, Roderick Strong, I think part 2 at the next NXT TakeOver event would be a remarkable main event. They would tear the house down. I believe that it could have potential match of the year quality. At least, it's going to be in the question for top 10. Right now, for me, in terms of WWE wrestling, okay, and I'm going to say is WWE, because I know a lot of people would argue, okay, like there's matches like Omega versus Okada Part 2 right now that should be ranking on the top 10 list, and I agree with you. That's definitely within my top 3. Probably my number 2 right now is that Okada Omega Part 2 match. But at the same time, if I'm just going WWE, I've got to say that this match in particular is probably in question of top 10 for sure, if not closer to top 5, which makes 2 weeks in a row where I can honestly say that NXT main events have made it into the question of top 10 of the year, because that Nikki Cross Asuka match, I've gone back and watched it a couple times, and my God, those women took it to each other, and they are definitely contending in the top there. And I'll just tell you right now, my number 1 right now has got to be Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate from NXT TakeOver Chicago, I believe. Anyway, if I'm wrong about the city, I apologize, but that right now is definitely my number 1 overall wrestling match of the year kind of thing. And so now this is 3 NXT matches in general that are in contendership for top 10 matches of this year. And I think and when I say that argumentatively on the point that they will probably in the argument for top 10 on my list for the entire year, period, because they were that good. Now, do I think that Roddy Strong and Bobby Roode could definitely bring an even better match? Yes, I do. So Triple H, book it for the next event, because that's what we're dying to see. Okay, over to Raw now. Let's go back to Monday Night Raw, and yes, the build for Great Balls of Fire. So here's where you're going to get more of my predictions. So Raw kicks off. Enzo Amore coming out, and you know what? Enzo bringing his goddamn A game when it comes to the microphone, as always. Enzo definitely, great talker on a microphone. We've always known that about him. So here he comes out. He gives us probably his best damn promo, because this was the most serious promo that he has done, the most heartfelt. So kudos Enzo Amore for coming out and delivering something that didn't bore the snot out of me. A lot of the times we get these guys coming out for 15, 20 minutes at the start of Raw, and it's just running their mouth. Oh, I'm awesome. Oh, I'm good. Well, it goes on, and it's been done 1,000 times before, and not necessarily to the fault of the stars or anything like that, because they're made to go out there, and what the hell are you supposed to talk about for 15, 20 minutes each and every week? Especially when you're just building to the same thing. Sometimes less talk, more action is required. But in the case of Enzo and Big Cass, there has been a couple of beatdowns now, and it was good to see Enzo come out and just talk and talk and talk with passion. You believed that this guy was legitimately hurt and legitimately upset about what Big Cass had done to him. This was his brother turning on him, and it was a great watch. And then when they cut to backstage right after that, and Big Cass is getting interviewed, and Enzo jumps in out of nowhere. Flying Enzo comes in, starts attacking Big Cass. Fantastic way to build to a match. We got Great Balls of Fire on Sunday. This was the go home show. This is how you build a match. Enzo Amore, Big Cass this Sunday. Great Balls of Fire. Enzo, you've done an excellent job on your mic work and everything like that, but unfortunately, my friend, you're about to walk into a 7-foot monster who is about to get a monstrous push by the looks of it. So I believe that Big Cass is going to pick up the win here. But I do feel that this match will be, better quality than most people are expecting. Next up, we had Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. It was an okay match. Not much to say from there. It wasn't anything special. It was there, solely for the purpose of having, Alexa and Sasha on screen in the build to their match, while having Nia still a factor, and Bayley's there, I guess. They don't seem to really know what they're doing with her anymore, so she just seems to kind of show up when they need someone to fill some roles. Yeah, not a bad match, but I honestly think that they could have done a little bit stronger in the build to Sasha and Alexa. I haven't really heard from either competitor. I mean, Sasha should have really been out there to address her win from last week, or done a little bit more about addressing her win from last week. So anyways, so Bayley and Sasha Banks picking up the win in this one. Let's move on. Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar video package was shown. I mean, this just proving how much of a beast that Joe has looked. I mean, I hate to use beast because he's taken on the beast, Brock Lesnar, but he's looked like a monster, a beast, somebody who could conquer Brock Lesnar finally. And it's like, it's an exciting aspect to know that there is somebody who's been given an opportunity. Samoa Joe, here you go. I know you've been in this business longer than most of the guys on that roster, but here's your opportunity at the big time. Here is the largest name in wrestling. Love him or hate him, Brock Lesnar is one of the biggest names in wrestling to date. So love him or hate him, here's your opportunity. You're going to go against him. This is what we want to do. And you know what? I'm going to have to say it right here. I am not a Brock Lesnar fan, but I'm going to say kudos to Brock Lesnar for once. I'm going to say something nice about the man. You, sir, have done a great job so far of making Samoa Joe look awesome in this feud. Right now, both of you look like scary, destructive individuals who are going to murder one another this Sunday at Great Balls of Fire. So, Should I do my prediction on that one now? That's my question here. Okay, let's go out on a limb and just do it now. It's kind of weird to do the title match now, but it's an exciting match. It's the first time I've been excited about a Brock Lesnar match since his return to the current landscape of WWE. Um, Joe's not coming out champion, you guys. I mean, it would be great betting odds. I mean, if you're a gambler and you want to take your chances on Joe, you could win a lot of money, and nobody call you an idiot for trying, because my God, I have not had so much doubt in my mind over a match finish, especially involving Brock Lesnar, in so damn long. But I do feel like it's going to be a hell of a fight. I do feel Brock's going to walk away champion still. I think it's gonna be a crazy finish. One where you almost think Joe's gonna get him. I honestly think they're gonna sell it to the point where it looks like Joe just about conquers the beast, so that Joe can look like that guy. So that say, if, yeah, I think the general idea here, and not a bad one either, is if you can have a guy that physically looks like he's on Lesnar's level, he is badass enough to be on Lesnar's level, then you've got a guy who, if Lesnar decides that he's not going to re-sign his contract that expires, I believe, around WrestleMania, then you've got Samoa Joe. You've got the next beast of a man walking around in that locker room, and he's a full-timer, you guys. He's there each and every week, and the fans are getting behind it. I think Joe has taken this opportunity and he has made it something special, which is just a total credit to Samoa Joe as a performer. Joe, I apologize that I'm not predicting you for the winner this Sunday, because you damn well deserve it. And who am I to tell you you damn well deserve it? You damn well deserve it, and the whole world knows it. However, I do know that the original plans were not for a title change this Sunday. I know that opinions and minds change all the time, so there's that slim possibility. But I still feel Brock Lesnar will come out victorious on Sunday. Next up on Raw, Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar. Yawn. Sorry, guys. Like both these guys, this whole thing is ran its course long before this match. It's dead in the water. Give something better to Alexander. Move Dar on to something else. This is another one of these, and ugh. I don't have anything better to say to that. Just ugh. So yeah, then next we have a little crossing of paths with Miz. Miz crossing paths with Dean Ambrose, Heath Slater, and Kurt Angle. Yeah, the Miz, doing his thing. Miz has been excellent. I mean, is there anything left to say there other than the Miz being awesome at what he does? His Miztourage, great look. I think this is awesome that Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are finally getting an opportunity to shine, being used properly for once. So something that they can be taken seriously for anyway. So next up we have The Miz versus Heath Slater for the Intercontinental title. The winner of that will face Dean Ambrose at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Fans obviously quite behind Heath Slater. Good match in the end. Miz conquering, becoming the remaining Intercontinental Champion, meaning that he will take on Dean Ambrose this Sunday at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Dean Ambrose, sorry to say it, pal, Miz is walking away champion, and he's going to hold on to that Intercontinental title for quite some time. Up next, Goldust comes out to debut his latest film, or his latest masterpiece, The Shattered Truth, all about his whole thing with R-Truth. A little predictable, I thought. As soon as I saw Goldust was going to sit in a director's chair to watch, I thought, this would be pretty dumb if they didn't have R-Truth attack him in this sense. So I kind of figured once the lights turned back on that R-Truth was going to already be in the ring, which he was. The feud is okay. Goldust is awesome. R-Truth, I have respect for the guy. I mean, he just a little too goofy for my liking, so I've never been able to really get behind him. But again, this has probably been one of the better R-Truth feuds for R-Truth. Goldust, I want to see move on from this to some greater things. I hope that he's got one last really solid run in. From there, okay, anyway, moving on. Seth Rollins, Kurt Hawkins doing battle. Who cares? The Bray Wyatt stuff, blah, yada, yada, yada. Again, I like Bray Wyatt. I like Seth Rollins. I have got absolutely no interest in this match on Sunday. And not because of these two performers, but because of the way this match has been billed. Like, it's just... does anyone care? Let me know, folks. Like, do you honestly care about the result of Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins this Sunday? Because to me, it has no effect. Neither man can look good coming out of it. Neither man can look good coming out of it. How do you put it? You got two guys here who need to go on a winning streak more than just about anybody on the goddamn roster at the moment. And you're billing them against each other in one of the most stale, boring pieces of WWE that's going on Raw right now. Raw's been pretty good lately, and this has been one of the least interesting parts. Anyway, so might as well do a prediction on this one. Rollins, Bray, pay-per-view. Bray never wins on pay-per-view. My powers of deduction tell me Rollins walks away the winner. Done. Anyway, moving on from there, Neville versus Mustafa Ali. Again, not one I paid a lot of attention to, but what I did catch was definitely interesting. Mustafa Ali, great performer in the ring. Obviously, Neville is no wonder. So, and then yes, we had the Bray Wyatt promo that came on after that with him walking in the desert. Because, sure, I don't know what, I don't know. You know what? Screw it, folks. I'm not talking about the Bray Wyatt thing anymore. I like the guy. I wish they'd use him properly. They obviously aren't right now. And so for the time being, I am not going to mention about this feud until Sunday is over. Because, my God, just kill it now. And next up, Finn Balor taking on Cesaro. Yes, this was actually a very good competitive match between the two. And hold on here 1 second. Sorry, folks. I apologize for that. So yes, definitely a great back and forth match. Cesaro, definitely getting more opportunity to be in the spotlight. And yes, also there is the tease here with Elias Sampson coming out, teasing his feud with Finn Balor, which I think has been awesome. Elias Sampson being used in a great sense. I really like how he's been since coming to the main roster, which is fantastic. So yes, definitely a great, interesting dynamic there. Makes for an interesting storyline. So wonderful to see what'll happen. I don't know if they've announced anything between the Drifter and have they announced anything between the Drifter and the Demon King right now? I'm not sure, but anyway, if these two by any chance happen to compete on Sunday with each other, I can't remember if it's been booked or not, but if it has been or it will be, then obviously I'm going to have to go with a win for Finn Balor. It's either going to be that or it's going to be a win for Elias by some sort of dirty win, of course. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. But anyway, let's also mention the tag team titles on the line at Great Balls of Fire. I did miss that one, despite the fact that we are currently talking about Cesaro, who is going to be a part of that. He's one half of the tag champs. So let's go down to that. Best 2 out of 3 falls between the Hardys, Cesaro and Sheamus. I believe this match is going to go in favor of the... I think it's got to go in favor of the Hardy Boys. There's a lot of talk about Sheamus taking time off to film a movie. So, the titles would definitely switch hands prior to that, which is coming up, I think, just slightly after SummerSlam. You might think that, maybe they'll wait until SummerSlam for them to lose it, but then you don't really have that back and forth a little bit. I kind of feel like the Hardys are going to take it this Sunday, And then from there, we're going to see the rematch at SummerSlam. The Hardys are going to walk out victorious. I think it's then going to lead to the Hardys and the Revival in a feud, which I think is where the Revival is going to win the titles eventually. But yes, for now, I think the Hardys are going to walk out champion this Sunday. I also just realized I totally effed up, folks. I forgot to give you a prediction on the women's championship match: Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Bliss retains, plain and simple. I think Bliss is going to retain in this particular match. Then Braun Strowman at the end of Raw taking on Apollo Crews, and man, Strowman is a beast. What a monster. Cruz getting some stuff in, which is good for him. I mean, good for him to be in the main event on Raw. So, Cruz getting some chance to be featured, even if it is in a match where he's getting his ass handed to him. So, yes, that leads me to say, okay, what's going to happen this Sunday? We have an ambulance match between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. Which one is going to walk out victorious? It's easy to say that you think it's going to be Roman Reigns, because that's what it always is, but I don't know at this point. I really don't know if I think Roman's going to win for sure. I kind of want to believe that Braun's going to win. So I'm going to go bold prediction right here, folks. My bold prediction: Braun Strowman walks away the winner of the ambulance match. Yeah, plain and simple. That's what it's going to be. Anyway, switching gears over to SmackDown. Yes, SmackDown time, people. So, SmackDown started off with John Cena. Yes, John Cena coming out, making his return on the most independent of Independence Days, July the 4th. Yes, America's big day. John Cena comes out and he's all pro-America and talking about how he's going to take on the best of the best. If he's got one last go at the WWE in him, then he wants to take out all the people who talk crap about him. So he could take on all of them as he starts pointing out, and he even drops names over on Raw, including Roman Reigns. And people are kind of like, shit, could we see that match? But no, here comes a returning Rusev. I know there's a lot of people who are upset about this being scheduled for Battleground. John Cena and Rusev in a flag match. This, again, I don't know, folks. I had to think about this one for a while. I know a lot of people are upset. It's like, here comes Rusev's return to get buried by John Cena again. This kind of thing. But I don't like the idea of the match because I honestly think that there's better for both of these guys currently. Not that this is a bad match at the same time. I mean, these two tore it down when they had their feud. I mean, they really took it to each other, and there was some memorable moments in those matches when they fought before. So I'm saying that there's a very good opportunity for a great match here at Battleground. The only thing that disappoints me is that, all the things they did for Rusev's return and him demanding a title shot, it's like it's thrown right out the freaking window all of a sudden in favor of a match with John Cena, which, again, is, I ask the question, is taking a loss to John Cena, especially at this point, really detrimental to a person's career? I wouldn't say so. I mean, Cena is, he's a top quality guy. He's top dog here. Still, even at this point, right? He's not old. So there's definitely, a chance for a good match. Could Rusev walk out on top? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that, it will be Cena that walks out the winner, unless there's going to be interference by somebody else to take Cena out. I don't know yet, but I'm going to have to go out on a limb, say that I'm pretty sure that Cena will win, but the match should be better than what I think people are currently willing to give an opportunity to. So next we had a match that was made where win and you're in. So AJ Styles versus Chad Gable. The winner would get to enter the Independence Day Battle Royal later that evening for a chance to take on Kevin Owens at Battleground. The writing was on the wall easily here. I don't think we ever thought for a second that AJ was not going to be in that Battle Royal. I also don't think for a second we ever thought that AJ wasn't going to win said Battle Royal either, considering that he's currently locked in a feud with Kevin Owens. That being said, man, that was a hell of a great showing between Chad Gable and AJ Styles. And if you took to Talking Smack or to Twitter afterwards, folks, you'll know that AJ Styles has put Chad Gable over in a huge way. In fact, the way AJ has put Chad Gable over almost kind of puts a bit of a predicament on the whole American Alpha team in a sense, because now you've put Chad Gable into the spotlight as a singles competitor. Do you split American Alpha up and give them opportunities to shine on their own? Maybe it's for the best at this point. I mean, I loved American Alpha, but man, they did nothing with them as a team on SmackDown, and it wasn't working. I mean, they could have Chad Gable as the pure wrestler on SmackDown Live right now, and I think it would get over big time. Meanwhile, Jason Jordan with a little repackaging could be a absolute contender within the ranks of SmackDown Live. I mean, there's no denying the man's ability in the ring, and he's got a physical size and presence there too as well. So again, could it be for the best to see American Alpha split at this point? Let me know. I'm not too sure if it's the best move, but definitely not saying it's a bad move right now. Next up, we had Carmella come out for her Carmella-bration, talking about her big win. So Naomi ended up interrupting first, and she come out, and then Daniel Bryan comes out, and that's where he went on to address Ellsworth, and Ellsworth disobeying rules recently. So he was then he went on to fine Ellsworth $10,000, suspend him for 30 days as well. Now, I just want to go out on a limb and say that I am not going to jump on this bandwagon of yes chance when it comes to everything Daniel Bryan does. The reason I say that is because at this point, Daniel Bryan is starting to become everything Daniel Bryan fought against. He fought against people pushing people around and taking away opportunities and stuff like that. And yet every single week, it does, not just in this sense. It's like, the whole fine, suspension. He's the boss. His employee disobeyed the rules, whatever. But how many goddamn times have other guys done it on the show, and Daniel Bryan just lets it slide? That's fine for others to do it, but when Ellsworth does it, we got to make a case out of it. Okay, it's booking, it's a storyline. I know it's not like this is the be all and end all of life right there, but everyone's jumping on this bandwagon. Every time Daniel Bryan says or does something, it's all yes, yes, yes. And unfortunately, right now for me, this is no, no, no. Every time he comes out recently, it's to come up with these bizarre ideas and stuff like that. And I know they're not his, they're being fed to him, but his ideas make him no better than the authority figures of the authority that he fought not that long ago. I mean, he is doing all the things that used to bother us about having happen to him, only he's doing this to the heel characters. So now everybody's, oh yay, our favorites are not getting screwed, and all the heels are getting treated like dirt and stuff like that. But that's where you're going wrong. And I'm going to say why you're going wrong there. The reason I say that is because the reason we want to tune in and get excited about a Daniel Bryan or a Sami Zayn or somebody like that winning is because it's exciting when they finally do it. They stick it to the man. They go and take that win. And unfortunately, we're not getting that in this case, because do we really want to see a heel character stick it to the man? I don't know. Do we? Because quite frankly, it's like we shouldn't be sympathizing with a heel character. We shouldn't sit there and go, man, like why is that guy screwing that guy over? Why is he screwing the bully over? And that's what's going on right now. Fortunately, like we're feeling sorry for heel characters when we shouldn't be. So up next was Naomi versus Lana. That happened. Oh yeah, it did. WTF, folks. That's what else can I say? It started, it ended, and Lana looks like a chump. And then Tamina comes out and nothing happens. Okay. Up next was the rap battle between the New Day and the Usos, and my God, I wanted to just curl up and die when I first heard about this. I was like, why would they do this? This is a terrible idea. But in the end, this was a lot more entertaining than it ever should have been. But I gotta say, the Usos owned this, guys. Like, if anyone actually truly believes the New Day won outside of it just being called that way because they're the goddamn New Day, you're seriously mistaken. The Usos schooled them on the microphone today. And I mean schooled. It was better. It was more entertaining. They just didn't seem like they were reaching. It seemed more natural for Jimmy and Jay. And so kudos Jimmy and Jay Uso for being awesome in this. Again, the New Day, you were good too. But yeah, again, it was called on a disqualification of the rules, I guess, of a rap battle, which is kind of silly because, what rules are you talking about? I mean, honestly, the New Day, they lost, plain and simple. Next, Randy Orton versus Aiden English. Okay. But in English, taking a win by disqualification. I don't know. Yeah, it was okay. Nothing special to note. So we're just going to fast forward right to the Independence Day Battle Royal that happened. It was a good enough Battle Royal. Again, most of the things, it's like there wasn't much to note here. There wasn't any real, addition of any possible feuds. I mean, you got top guys like Ziggler being eliminated way too early. You had Mojo Rawley kind of turn on Zack Ryder of all things. An asshole Mojo Rawley just doesn't seem interesting to me at all. So I hope that if they split these two, that's not the direction they're going, is with heel turn Rawley. Ugh. I feel dirty just saying that. Gotta go have a goddamn shower just thinking of the idea that Mojo Rawley can be the heel. I mean, at least Ryder, as much as we love Ryder, could get that heel persona going, I believe, and that arrogance that I've been here longer than you, I'm better than you, I deserve this, I'm tired of you taking my opportunities away, I should have been there at WrestleMania winning that Battle Royal. That kind of crap, that's what will get a guy over, and I think would work really well with Ryder. With Rawley, what's he going to say? Yeah, I'm a dick. Pushed you out, bro, because I like winning now, and you've been on the injured list too long. Piss off. What a stupid idea. I don't know. Bad booking to me. Anyway, in the end, AJ Styles wins, obviously. AJ Styles now going to be taking on Kevin Owens at Battleground for that U.S. title. Not really sure where that one's going to go at this point. I guess we'll see how things start to play out. I think, unless you're going to move Kevin Owens on to the the WWE Championship, then it's not really worth it. I think that's more where they're going to direct AJ Styles at the moment, because that's what fans want to see. So I think I can see Kevin Owens retaining for a while and holding that championship for a while. And, hopefully it will help give it back some of the relevance it deserves, for sure. So anyway, this has been a very long-winded episode. I know, folks, if you managed to sit through this whole thing, I applaud you, because, I can't even listen to my own voice for 5 minutes, let alone almost an hour's worth of a day. So, if you've been tuning in and listening to my ramblings and my bullshit, then, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I appreciate it. So, what else do I have to say? Yes, Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view this Sunday. Are you tuning in? Let me know in the comments below. Reach out to me on Twitter at VaporRob. Hashtag the real Bobby Munson. Let me know what your predictions are for this Sunday, Great Balls of Fire. Let me know who you thought was the better show this week of the 4 shows, whether it be Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, or 205 Live. If I was going to rank them this week, folks, I think for me it's going to go NXT, then Raw, then 205 Live, and then SmackDown. I think SmackDown kind of dropped the ball again, which they've been doing a lot lately. Not really the fault of their competitors or anything, but it just seems like they took the Raw writers and stuck them on SmackDown in the Superstar Shake-Up or something like that, because it just doesn't seem to be the consistency or good storytelling that there was previously, as much as I'd like there to be. So, that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think again in the comments below. Please, if you would be so kind, give me a subscribe. I'm dying here, folks. I need subscriptions because I got no subscribers on YouTube right now. So do me a favor, be the first to subscribe to my channel, and maybe be the second or third or fourth, and tell your friends. Let them know. And if we're on Twitter, yes, folks, please retweet this, send it out. Let people know I exist, that I have a voice, and if there's stuff you want me to talk about, there's certain types of ideas. I want to do more than just give you episodes where I talk about the shows every week. I want some ideas from you fans out there. What would you like me, a guy who religiously spends most of his time living, eating, breathing, and dreaming of wrestling? What do you want to know from me? I've been a fan since the 80s, folks. I know quite a bit, I think. Not going to say I know more than anybody else or anything like that. I just know quite a bit, and maybe you have some recommendations for me. It's like, maybe you've got some matches that I haven't seen this year. Let me know. Let me know a match that you might think will blow my mind, and so that I can talk about it. I can check it out. I can let you know what I think. So, anyways, follow me on Twitter. Retweet me out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me comments in the comments below. Definitely want to hear from you guys. Let's get more engaged. And this Sunday, let's all just get this train going. Great Balls of Fire. I'm assuming the WWE is going to have it as hashtag GBOF. Would be my prediction anyway. But let's get those hashtags rolling early. Let's get that Twitter feed trending, and let's follow everybody back. So if people are tweeting about Great Balls of Fire within the WWE universe, let's us, the WWE universe, follow one another. So let's follow each other on Twitter. So let people know on Twitter. Let's follow back at Great Balls of Fire this Sunday. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, folks. I will probably be back next week. Actually, not probably. Of course, I'll be back next week. You're going to hear all about Great Balls of Fire and some of the shows from next week as well, too. And hopefully you guys will have given me some information by then of other things that I should talk about and discuss here on the show. And now, with almost an hour running time on this episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling, Top Guy out.